Pearl Talent Collective is a woman-owned consultant firm that is able to coach your HR team to greatness. With 20 years of experience in HR, you would be hard-pressed to find another consultant firm that is able to produce the results needed for today's work environment. From helping your team maintain their goals, all the way to structuring the groundwork for a successful team for your new company and everything in between. Contact Pearl Collective as your consultant today and let success become the new standard. Welcome to the Intoxication Station. I'm Raymond. Here guesting me today is one of my good friends. My God, one of my good friends. Derek, how are we doing tonight?
Doing fantastic, Raymond. How are you?
Doing pretty well. Now,
It's been a while.
it has been. Now, traditionally on the station, you can have a couple of drinks and whatnot to go along with the recording and what have you. But how long are you celebrating your sobriety for?
5 years and 4 months.
Hell yeah! So in doing so, you're having a beer, but not quite a beer. If you want to go ahead and show the audience what you got there.
Got a little Guinness Zero.
Nothing wrong with Guinness.
Got to keep that Irish heritage alive, And then we got the nice Guinness glass here.
Oh, so you're doing it proper.
We got to keep it professional,
Oh yeah.
You know me, I take my Guinness pretty seriously. So on that, we'll give a 1, 2, 3.
Crispy.
That's a beautiful thing right there.
Oh yeah.
And then we're gonna pour it like a professional.
Gotta let it sit properly.
Absolutely. Let that nitro come to fruition here.
You can just hear it.
And then we'll give it a nice.
Gotta let it
there
sit.
She goes.
Oh,
that is. I still get to enjoy some of my favorites,
Oh yeah. Well,
even though Go ahead.
Well, especially with the options that are out there now for NA beers. Like, it's genuinely surprising. Like, they have NA just about everything anymore. Like, they have NA whiskey, they have NA vodka. Don't know how that works. But
honestly, most of them are pretty good too. The NA tequila, like, makes some mean margaritas. Like,
really?
I've had a couple of those. Some of the whiskeys, I mean, traditionally, like, the one thing you don't really get with, like, the whiskey, right, is you don't get that same burn. You know what I mean? That you get from, like, a whiskey. And, like, when I was drinking, that was, like, one of my favorite things is, a nice whiskey and stuff like that. So, but, I mean, as far as, like, because I love beer too. When I was drinking, that was pretty apparent. We spent enough time together.
Oh, yeah. Oh, my God.
But, it was funny because you weren't there, but I had originally found the Guinness Zero at an Irish pub in, I think, like, Maine. We just happened to go to this Irish pub for dinner while we were traveling, and I saw up on their beer board, it was like Guinness Zero. So I, like, immediately asked the waitress, I'm like, is that non-alcoholic Guinness? I was like, is that a thing? She's like, yeah, absolutely. And I was like, I'm gonna need one of those right now.
Oh, I'm gonna need about 14 of them. They're delicious.
So, and, like, I mean, I waited, I didn't have my first, like, NA beer for, like, the first 2 years of my sobriety. I wanted to kind of avoid everything and stuff like that. And so, like, I was at my wife's parents' house, so my in-laws' house, and her dad wasn't drinking at the time. It still doesn't, I don't think. And he brought me, like, a Heineken Zero. And I was like, what's that? Because I hadn't even looked for anything. The only thing I knew of was O'Doul's, and I knew it was gross.
Oh, yeah.
So, but I got handed the Heineken Zero, and we were, like, cooking out on the grill. And I was like, summertime, I'm cooking on the grill. There's a beer I can drink. Does life get better? So I cracked this Heineken Zero, and it tastes just like a Heineken. Like, there's no difference, you know what I mean, other than the alcohol. So I'm like, I can still get the taste without the drunk, which is awesome, So, these Guinnesses and stuff, like, and I'm still not big on, like, I have these here left over from, like, Thanksgiving. Because I still stick to kind of, like, the more social aspect to it. So obviously for this here tonight, social aspect, we'll indulge.
We'll partake in it. Oh, it looks like it has the right color, the right head, the right everything.
It's perfect. It tastes, honestly, again, it tastes just like Guinness. Like, I think I could probably, if I could find a whiskey that tasted like Jameson, I could probably make you a car bomb and you wouldn't even know it.
Dude, an NA car bomb. That would be wild.
Yeah.
Give those
Absolutely.
give those to a bunch of kids, see how they react to it. Oh my god, that would be hilarious. Now, that said, we don't condone underage drinking on the channel, but we can't prevent you from doing it either. So, get,
I mean, I think, just to let the audience know, like, as you know, I have 5 kids. It is kind of cool that, like, with these NA things, like, I feel a little less guilty when they're like, can I try it? You
mhm,
know what I mean? It's just like, they've all, like, tried the Guinness at this point and a few of the other ones. And like you said, there's so many options now. Like, I have one in my fridge right now. I think it's an IPA. It's like mango and something, and it's fantastic.
mhm.
And, even honestly, the Bud Heavy Zero is just like drinking a Bud Heavy.
Oh
It's
yeah,
crazy.
the white can.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
ridiculous.
nah, like there really are a lot of options out there, especially when you look at it from the aspect of like regular soda and diet soda. Like that's how you have to go about looking at it, in my opinion. Because if you want the taste but you don't want the calories, you go with a diet drink.
Mhm.
It's no different with a NA beer. Like you want the taste of a beer, but you don't want the alcohol to go along with it either. I
Yeah.
mean, more power to you. I've yet to try one. One of these days I will. I'll either be like thrown into trying one or something along those lines. But no, I'm glad that there's options out there for people.
Yeah. Yeah, it's really cool. Like, and especially because like even a lot more of like the bars and stuff like that are starting to carry more.
Hmm.
A lot of your more like, you know, hole in the wall bars will just have like your O'Douls and Heineken and stuff like that.
Hmm.
But the more upper, like the ones that like the younger people are more to frequent and stuff like that, they
Hmm.
tend to carry a lot more of them. So I have a buddy of mine who's also sober, and we'll go shoot some pool every now and again, and it's kind of cool to be able to go to the bar, shoot some pool, and still like drink a beer, like
Oh yeah. Well, have the
um,
social aspect behind it without having the
yeah,
regret afterwards. Because
yeah,
like one thing that I've noticed since starting this channel is there is a huge movement on people just not drinking at all,
I,
drinking
I think the
alcohol
younger,
anyways.
yeah, the younger generation, we're basically the same age, late
Hmm.
30s. I feel like the younger generation and even part of ours is like really not consuming nearly as much alcohol anymore.
Hmm.
Um, so I think you're starting to see a lot more of even like the microbreweries and stuff like that offering an NA or two.
Oh yeah.
Um,
So there's a restaurant not too far away from where I live. We did a review on it. Probably a few months back now, called the New York Beer Project. That place
mhm.
is amazing in every aspect. I can't get over the cheese sticks that they have there because they give you 4 cheese sticks that are a quarter pound apiece.
Oh wow. Okay.
Excuse me.
I'm there for that.
Oh yeah, and you get 4 of them in an order too. Like it's a good time. But they even have a couple of NAs on tap.
Yeah.
So being a brewery, they have their own microbrews and their own beers on tap, but they also have a full whiskey bar as well too to make different cocktails and what have you. Like it's a really good establishment, but it is cool to see them have NAs available
Yeah.
just in
Yeah.
general.
It like you said, like, and for me, I never cared about being the guy going with, and I mean, I think you even got to witness this even when I stopped drinking. Like, I never cared about being the guy just going and ordering a soda and everybody else is drinking. I don't
Hmm.
care about that. But it's kind of cool to just be able to still enjoy like the social aspect of having even an NA beer with
Hmm.
everybody. So it's a big plus in the fact that like, even for us that are sober and stuff, like I don't have to feel weird about it. Not that I personally ever did, but it's like I can
For the
enjoy
people,
like
for the people that do
I
feel weird about it,
yeah,
they
and
can
like
blend
I
in a
enjoy
lot
the
better.
taste of beer. Yeah, and like I enjoy the taste of beer.
Hmm.
So for me, having those options is really cool. And like also now, like if I get invited to a cookout or something, like I'll grab a 6 pack that I can enjoy, on a hot day or whatever. And it's also something that I don't have to feel guilty about bringing to like a family function or something,
Oh
you
yeah.
know?
Well,
So,
especially if you look at it from the kids' aspect of things. What's this? I don't know. I started drinking it. It tastes weird. Oh, it's just an NA beer. You're fine. Versus,
Exactly.
what's this? Where's your pants, little Johnny? I don't know. I left them back in the woodline somewhere. We're in the city. Where did you go?
Exactly. So,
But it really is cool to see that the market is there. And, hopefully one of these days I can do a couple reviews on some NA beers just to show people that may not be aware that there are other options out there. I mean, after seeing that Guinness Zero that you got, I'm on board. I want to go ahead and try to find some and try it out, just cause.
yeah, and honestly, it's cool too because like it's like the same price, you know. A 4 pack of Guinness is usually $10.
Hmm.
A 4 pack of Guinness Zero is $10.
So you're
Like
not missing out on
it,
anything.
no, it falls right in line with everything. And like honestly, I would venture to say, you know, even if you want to do another one of these, me, you, and Strickland,
Hmm.
I'll point you guys to some NAs that hopefully you can find down there, and we'll do like a live taste test and see how you guys feel about some of them. I'll give you some good ones.
Nice. Yeah, definitely gonna have to go through and try that out. But so as of right now, I do have a couple of questions for you. Yeah, give the audience some context on
Yeah,
how
that's
we
fine.
met, and whatnot. For a little bit of background, Derek and I used to work together doing field engineering work. He's currently one of the managers of the company now, which once again, congratulations.
Thank you.
And now it was an absolute blast working with you. And some of the coolest places I've ever been to in the United States, and also some of the most terrifying places I've been to in the United States as well, too. Like, I still don't know what was worse when we were working out in Miami or if we were working in Philly.
I mean, Philly was definitely the most like sketchy
Oh yeah,
for some of the parts we were in.
oh yeah.
Um, Miami was just hot and miserable.
Did find some good ass wings down there too. I've been trying to find the name of the location down there. That way, if I ever do make it down there, Strickland and I would like to review that sports bar again because those wings were outstanding.
I mean, they were thighs, man. They weren't even wings. Those
Uh,
things were
that's why they were
huge.
so good. That's why they were so good. You get all the meat, and it's just so good. Oh my god. So
And then $5 pitchers of beer, and they're like, "Do you want cups?" No,
no,
cups are unnecessary.
why would I want a cup? I don't want to dirty up anything else in here.
You
How?
gave me a cup.
So all right. Um. So question number one: what was a crazy experience that we experienced together?
Man, I'm sure it was somewhere. Did you did frozen cornfields in Ohio with me?
I
So there's that,
so I wasn't there
didn't
for the
you?
frozen cornfields, but walking through soybean patches in fall time up in Ohio, that stuff hurts.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, that stuff hurts.
I, man, it's so hard to think. I mean, because we met in what, 2018, I think it
Hmm.
was. So, I mean, it feels like I've known you a hell of a lot longer than that. But
Trauma bonding will do that.
so yeah, I mean, I think just like, you know, all the places we've traveled together and been in and stuff like that is, I mean, it's just kind of crazy that, you know, we got paid to go to places
Oh
and
yeah.
like work, but also just kind of have a good time
Oh yeah.
outside of work.
Yeah, checking out
Uh,
the new places all across the United States and whatnot. One place that I wouldn't want to go back to, not because it was sketchy, but because there wasn't really much to offer there, Columbus, Mississippi. So we stayed at a hotel in Columbus, Mississippi, which if you could find it on the map, congratulations. It was the town was known for being an old Army Air Force base circa World War II, which the Air Force has been part of the Army in decades. And the hotel that we were staying at had three Waffle Houses. Two were closed down, and what was open across the street adjacent to us. And that place was wild. Because if they shut down a Waffle House,
is
something bad went down there. They
yeah,
shut
that
down
was the
two.
one where they had like wasn't that the one that like the Waffle House was in the hotel parking lot?
Hmm.
Like it shared a parking lot, and then like they'd have like car meets, and you never knew if there was going to be a shooting there or something.
Oh yeah,
Like on like random days of the week, even like Friday or Saturday, it was like
just
it's
a
Tuesday, guys. What are we
eh,
doing?
yeah, just a Tuesday. There's like 1,100 people coming in from other parts of the state down there.
Yeah, because if I'm not mistaken, you came to. I'm trying to remember. I think you came to Mississippi And like that's when I had gotten pulled out of Ohio and sent down to Mississippi. And I went from like 40-degree weather to like 90 and 90% humidity,
Hmm.
like
Yeah.
within 24 hours.
Oh yeah. Which that would have been a shocker for anyone
Yeah,
going from that,
yeah,
especially driving too, because like traditionally with most people, if there's a long trip like that from Ohio down to Mississippi, they're going to take a couple of days to get down there, sleep and whatnot. No, not us. No,
that was a day trip.
very long day trip, but a day trip nonetheless. Because
It's
I met up with you in Ohio. We finished out the Ohio project, but there was something wrong with the vehicle that I had, and I had to go into the mechanic shop to get fixed.
that's right.
And I followed you down to Mississippi, maybe 12 hours behind you. And that was a long ass drive, especially going through like
Yeah,
Missouri and whatnot. But yeah,
I mean, because I've done the drives from you know my my home in North Georgia to Maine. I've made that drive too, which is well over a 20-hour trip. It's
oh
pretty
yeah.
awful. Broke that one up luckily, but
Hmm.
still, it's still a long haul.
Oh yeah.
So
Maine was pretty though. I still wouldn't mind going back up to Maine. What?
yeah,
So,
just not when we were up there.
oh dear God, so much snow on the ground, so much ice
So
everywhere,
cold,
so
so
cold.
cold. And I mean, you know me, I'm from the Northeast, so like used to it, but I had been out of it for so long at that point that it was like frigid.
Well, it hurt to breathe.
Yeah,
It just straight up
yeah.
hurt to
Welcome to
breathe
the
up there.
Northeast,
Hmm. Well,
because
so
you not only do you get the cold, but you get the humidity. So
on top of that, so
yeah,
what Derek's referring to was a project that we did up in Maine, specifically Biddeford, which is just shy of Portland, Maine, and it was a cool place. I would love to go there during the spring, summer, even early fall months up there. But oh my God, when I was up there was like the week after New Year's in 2022, and they hadn't had any snow prior to me going up there. The next day after driving in there, snow, so much snow. Like there was one day that we were working out there where it was like negative 50 degrees, working outside in that. Not a fun time, but a good experience nonetheless.
yeah. I mean, you also dealt with Rochester, Minnesota as well. So
Oh God, that was just a boring ass place to be at. Because
yeah,
so with Rochester, Minnesota, for those that may not be aware, it's the home of the Mayo Clinic, which, from what I was told, if they can't fix you at the Mayo Clinic, chances are you're not going to make it. Period. Like they have all the sciencey stuff up there, and
right.
that was the first place that I got to witness negative degree temperatures at negative 26, and that hurt as well. Not nearly as bad as negative 50, but it still wasn't the best time. Less than advantageous temperatures, if you will. Now,
No,
so here's another question for you.
sure.
Favorite car that you've owned? Now, you are a bit of a car guy,
A little
and
bit.
in the time that I've known you, you had some pretty cool cars. Still wish I would have seen was it the wagon Jetta that you had, the TDI?
Yeah, I had the TDI wagon.
Nice.
Yeah, that was fun. Favorite car, man. I've owned so many. It's so hard to say. I had a '97 Integra GSR
Ooh.
that I put an absolutely ton of money into. Love that car. That's one of the few that I miss. And then I think honestly, like my Focus ST, I miss that
Oh
on a
yeah.
regular basis.
Oh yeah. The mango
Um,
orange. That thing was
yep, yep.
pretty.
That was a fun car. And I've been kind of out of the fun car scene for a while. Being an adult.
Hmm. Well, I mean, you got to go
And
with practicality.
yeah, and I mean, just recently, you know, what 2 years ago bought a house on 6 acre, two houses on 6 acres,
Hmm.
and I bought a truck just to, you know, I don't know, really fulfill my redneck legacy of
Well, I mean, so when it comes to practicality, you can't go wrong with a truck because you can raise a family
yeah,
with a truck, you can move with a truck, you can work out of a truck, you can do everything with a truck.
yeah.
In
Oh,
it.
it's so convenient, so
Oh yeah.
convenient.
Well, then I would imagine any of the renovations that you have on your places, it's a hell of a lot easier to move lumber with a truck than it is with a hatchback.
Absolutely. I actually just recently in the second house, we just got it completely redone in about 2 weeks because my oldest son moved into that house.
Nice.
And we had to So there was no heating and cooling over there
Hmm.
because the house was built in like the 50s. It was like the original house to the property. So I ended up doing like the Mr. Cool DIY mini splits over there.
Dude, mini splits are
Well,
where it's at.
dude, it's awesome. I installed them in 6 hours
Nice.
with a buddy of mine, and they work great. But they couldn't get up my driveway with the truck to deliver them.
Nice.
So I had to meet the guy down at the gas station down the road, and he dropped the tailgate on the truck, and we slid it over into my truck. And without a truck, I kind of would have been SOL.
Oh, yeah.
It would have been. So it definitely has its purposes. Getting the stuff that I need is just so much easier now.
Hmm.
We have some livestock on the property and stuff like that, and we're raising rabbits for meat rabbits. And, we built all the cages for them and everything, and obviously transporting all that lumber, all that stuff, like
Hmm.
so much easier with the truck.
Oh,
I
yeah.
mean, don't get me wrong, we have the minivan. I can fit everything in that too.
Uh,
But
Never underestimate the power of a minivan. So
exactly,
so much stuff can get packed into a minivan. But
100%.
I mean, for just the big bulky items, yeah, you can leave
Yep.
the tailgate open on a minivan and go down the road. But something about a truck,
Yeah,
just something about a
just way
truck.
easier.
Hmm.
Way easier. But yeah, favorite car would have to be chalked up to the Integra or the ST, I think. But I mean, in my 37 years of existence at this point, I've owned like over 100 cars, and
Good God,
it's kind of a problem I used to have.
that's just a lot. That's a lot of time at the DMV in general.
Yes, yes,
That is so much time at the
yes.
DMV.
It wasn't until I moved out of New York though that the DMV became difficult.
Hmm.
Like, because I
But
lived in a small town in New York, and like it's super easy to change tags and stuff like that there.
hmm.
Um, but then like when I moved to Kansas City, it was a pain in the butt to like get all that stuff done, and Georgia's kind of the same way.
Hmm.
So it's just, and I guess, just kind of making my wife happier because it used to stress her out when I was going through cars all the time.
Oh yeah.
Um, I always had like the family vehicle, but then like I had my vehicles,
Hmm.
and now it's just a little more stable, and I think she appreciates that a little more.
Oh yeah. But nothing wrong with that. That's the whole thing about growing up. You gotta sometimes put away your hobbies for practicality, especially when it comes to
Mhm.
cars. Yeah, as much as I would love to have a shit box, just like yeah, I don't even know what I would have for like a shit box vehicle. Probably a 94 or a 95 Honda Acura wagon.
That'd be awesome. Yeah.
Yeah.
The Accord wagons are
Yeah.
where it's at. I love them.
Yeah, the Cord wagons.
So,
Because, I mean, those things are practical. They get great fuel economy, and parts are typically everywhere. At least for the sedans.
yeah.
I haven't looked on the marketplace for any of the wagon parts, but I would imagine that they're
I mean,
readily
they all
available.
have the same. They all have the same motors and transmissions and stuff in them, so
Hmm.
it's kind of a dime a dozen. You can find them anywhere.
Oh yeah,
So
any junkyard,
it's
anywhere.
eBay, whatever.
Oh,
You
eBay.
got parts.
Now,
But yeah, I've actually one of my goals recently has been I want like a mid 90s Honda, and I want to go back to the early parts of my car modifications, and I want to do like let's go back to the body kits and the Fast and the Furious style of
hmm
ridiculousness, you know what I mean? So,
have a car that could barely do 100 miles an hour look like it could do 350 miles an hour.
it 100%.
Hmm.
100%.
Now, with that being said, do you have any projects that you're working on currently, aside from the house and what have you?
Do I have any projects? Still actively trying to clear some of the property. We have a big, probably close to an acre swath that we started taking down trees and stuff like that. We're going to do like a big garden and get stuff
Nice.
ready. I'm also slightly in the process of trying to do some finishing touches on having like a shooting range out back and stuff like that too.
Hell
So
yeah. Hell yeah.
that's important. That's important.
Well, yeah. Well, especially being up where you're at, because
Yeah.
now I haven't been to your property yet, but how far? So when last time I seen you, you were living up in Canton, Georgia, which is about
Mhm.
an hour north of Atlanta. Where are you at
I'm
approximately?
about 2 hours north of Atlanta now.
All right.
I'm in Chatsworth, Georgia.
Okay.
But well outside city limits. I can't see my neighbors. I have 6 acres, and my property backs up to like railroad tracks, so nobody will ever be behind me.
Nice.
Um, so it's kind of just like I've dubbed it my own little swath of "Leave Me the Hell Alone"
Hmm.
is kind of my, and it was my goal. When we were looking for a house, my only things were if we bought more than 5 acres, I'd take up to an hour commute to work.
Hmm.
Anything less than 5 acres, I wanted to be within like 20 minutes. So when we found this place, it was kind of like, it's about a 45 to 50-minute drive to the office, but it's in the middle of nowhere. It's, you know, off the beaten path. I don't have anybody around me, and we love it.
Oh
It's
yeah,
it's great. So,
yeah. I wish I could say the same thing about that because where I'm at, I'm in Orlando, Florida, if I have to specify, and there's been so many people moving to the state of Florida in recent years. It's becoming a legitimate problem down here because at the pre-COVID, we were at a sitting populace of 13 million for the state of Florida. Currently, we're at a little over 26 million plus people as a standing population.
good God.
Well, let me go ahead and check the Googles and see what they have to say. So look like it may have went down a little bit. Excuse me, but as it sits, let's go ahead and see with 24. So it's showing for estimated population of 22,975,900, but those would be people that claim residency down here. That's not including, especially this time of year, with all the snowbirds that come in from up north, Canada, New York, New Hampshire, places like that live down here part time, on top of a lot of the South American families that come up here for months on end to go on vacation.
Right. Right.
So yeah, they could easily be rounded up to 26 million for as far as a standing population on a day by day basis, which is wild.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I feel like even, like obviously Florida got hit with the influx of people,
Mm-hmm.
and Georgia was kind of next on the list.
Oh yeah. Well, I
I
mean,
know.
especially coming from New York, Georgia is on the way down to Florida for all the families that did drive down this way. Like Georgia has a lot going on for it. As much as I would like to live up there, it's a very diverse state overall. Because the
Mhm.
further south you go, the flatter the land gets as it gets closer to Florida. But northern Georgia is one of my favorite places on the East Coast to go to. It really is. Just beautiful mountain ranges up there, tons of creeks everywhere. People are super friendly and nice. Like I can see the appeal for Georgia moving up there. But the biggest thing that we have going for us down here, we don't have a state income tax,
Yeah.
which is a
Which
huge.
is nice.
Oh yeah, oh yeah, absolutely is nice. But I mean, people are kind of taking advantage of it a lot.
Yeah, I've been like, because where we're at, we're basically like right at the base of the Blue Ridge Mountains.
Hmm.
Um, because North Georgia is, oddly enough, it's very reminiscent of like where I'm from in New York.
Hmm.
Um, being from like Western New York, stuff like that. So very mountainous, rural, stuff like that. So it kind of feels a bit like home.
Hmm.
And, there's aspects of it too where it's kind of funny because, one of the big things where we're from in New York is like apple orchards and stuff like that. And we have those up here too.
What up
So,
in Georgia?
yeah, like in the North
Nice.
Georgia area, LJ, stuff like that, there's a bunch of apple orchards. And honestly, like the, man, like the first couple of weeks of October, they do a bunch of apple festivals and stuff like that.
Oh,
And I see
nice.
so many Florida license plates up here.
I'm sorry.
Like everybody comes up here, and especially because like we have the changing leaves and stuff like that too.
Hmm.
And God, watching some of the people from Florida trying to drive in the mountains is rough, to say the least.
Oh yeah, well, especially if you're stuck behind them. Now,
Yep.
if I could try to find the photo they sent over to me, God, it's been a hot minute. You sent me a photo of someone hauling a jet ski through the mountains up in North Georgia with Florida tags on it.
A
And
Dodge Charger.
oh, and a Dodge Charger, of course, it'd be in a Charger.
And no, 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 it wasn't even Florida plates, it was Georgia plates, and I just told you that this seems like Florida behavior.
Oh yeah, oh absolutely, absolutely. So, um, to let the to fill in with the audience, I'm an Uber driver during the daytime, doing the podcast whenever I'm able to. And with the sheer amount of people that I see on an annual basis that ask me all the questions about Florida, like, where's a great place to live? What's a place that's not super expensive and whatnot? I like the number one question that comes up is, who is Florida Man? And the answer that's given every time is, it's not a matter of who Florida Man is, because Florida Man is an entity. Anybody could be Florida Man, Florida woman, or even Florida child. Florida child's just terrifying. That's a terrifying individual. All hopped up on Mountain Dew and probably methamphetamines too. As the years go by, living here in Florida, I really have a hard time seeing where people get the appeal to come down to Florida. Like, yeah, I get it. It doesn't snow down here, which for a lot of people, that's a big choice for moving down here. And I do see the appeal on not having a state income tax, because you can keep more of your paycheck at the end of the week and whatnot. I get that as well too, but I mean that's very little, like minuscule amount on a list of things that I would move to a completely different state for. Because yeah, we don't have snow down here, but it is so hot year round down here. Like currently right now, it's like 80 something degrees at time of recording at 7:45 at night, and it's December. Like we're a week away from Christmas, and it's hot outside.
Unacceptable.
Oh yeah, like there were a couple of days where it was nice and chilly, and it felt so good, but it wasn't cold enough. Sure. It wasn't cold enough to justify wearing pants. Like it was still short weather. Yeah. Another thing with living down in Florida, you can see who's a native traditionally and who isn't a native, especially this time of year, because on any given street corner, you'll see someone that looks like that they're about to hike Mount Kilimanjaro in the middle of their winter time down in Africa, and then you have other individuals that, they're about to go to the beach. It's 65 degrees outside, or for my international audience, I believe that's about 22 Celsius, so it's not not that cold for a vast majority of people, but the people that do live here, we can't handle it. Hurricanes, no issue. Anything below 75?
Yeah. Well, that's like here, like we get, like in the forecast, chance of snow, and it's the end of the world. Mm-hmm. Even up here in Georgia, it's like, all right, guys, calm down a little bit. Like, it's not that bad.
It happens at least once a year. Nothing to panic about.
And it'll be gone tomorrow. Don't worry. It's fine. Everything's fine.
Everything's fine. But nah, like, it's crazy to me. So it's crazy to me, but also humbling at the same time that there's so many people that are willing to go through the ringer just to live in my home state. It's a very humbling experience, but when everybody is trying to move to the state of Florida, yeah, you're just you're removing everything that makes the state of Florida special in favor for commercialization and having bad traffic on a 24/7 basis. Which it was never like that, especially growing up.
It's for me, like, I mean, I just remember growing up and like we had family down in Florida. So Florida was usually a spot for vacation and stuff like that. And that's how I've always felt about Florida, is like, you go to Florida to visit and then you leave. Mm-hmm. And, for me, it's like, I don't have that desire to even go down there anymore.
Oh, yeah.
It's like,
oh, yeah. And
it's so hot all the time.
It really is. It really is. Like, being a multi-generational Floridian, I've never seen a white Christmas before. But I have been to the beach on Christmas, and I have been swimming on Christmas as well, too. Which, what do you not typically do during the winter months? Swim and go to the beach. It's so crazy. So crazy.
Well, and I mean, we did the Disney thing in 2018, mm-hmm. and we did it in November, and it was still 90 degrees.
Oh, yeah.
Like, I'm still in tank tops and shorts and everything like that, and I'm like, it's just too hot. Mm-hmm. I can't function like a human. Yeah. So,
well, especially with the humidity, because I don't believe it would be as bad if it wasn't so humid. Because I mean, as it sits right now, it's at 99% humidity, which gross.
Yeah, nobody just wants to be wet all the time.
Oh yeah. Well, you take a shower. Then you have to take a shower after that shower, and then you got to take another shower
Exactly.
afterwards. It's just, it's a losing battle.
Yeah.
Now, another question for you. Of all the places that you've either went on vacation or worked, which one was your favorite, both for work or for vacation?
I'll be honest with you, Boise, Idaho. Boise was like one of the most beautiful places I've ever been to,
Mm-hmm.
and the nicest people I've ever met. Like, oddly, scarily nice. Like,
Not
especially
like the.
being from New York.
Oh yeah. Well, so I've been to Idaho before, and it really is a beautiful state. It's a very underrated state, in my opinion.
Yes. Yes.
It, especially up in the Panhandle, where it borders between Washington State, and Washington State and Montana. That swath in between the two. It's such a
Mhm.
gorgeous section of country up through there. It really is a very underrated state, a very agriculture-based state. For
Yes.
some that may know, they're
And
known
like
for potatoes and such.
my favorite, so we're
Oh
good.
yeah.
But like, yeah, Boise is just like you kind of show up and you're just like immediately surrounded by mountains. And like it's just such a pretty place to be.
Mm.
It's like, kind of mind blowing. Now, driving out there was awful because you're
Oh yeah.
Kansas on all the flat states and whatnot. But yeah, Boise for me was like, I actually think I even sent my wife a text and I was like, I think I could live here.
Mm.
Like,
No, it
that got
really.
shot down real quick, but
There's nothing to do out there. That's the whole reason why I want to move out here.
100%.
Now, to put it in comparison, since I got Google up, let's see what Idaho's population is.
Three.
It's more than that. I'm going to say at least 14. Oh, wow. So, as of 2024, there's probably more people in like Disney World right now than there is in the state of Idaho. So, the state of Idaho has a population of 1,845,314 approximate. That
I like that.
I love it. I love it, but oh my god, that's so tiny.
So few people.
So,
It's great.
oh yeah. I want to go back out there. And it's on
Then
it's on an uptick too. As let's see.
it's moving to Idaho.
Idaho population grew by nearly 26,000 between July 2022 and July 2023. There's more people in the airport at Orlando International than there was in the uptick. I love it. I love it.
That's great.
Now, let's see about North Dakota, because there ain't nobody in North Dakota.
Hey, my brother lives in North Dakota.
Well, he is one of 788,940 people living in North Dakota as of this year.
Sounds about right.
Yeah, yeah. So yeah, a lot closer to the 12 people population. That's hilarious. I mean, once again, it goes back to being such a polarizing thing, being a Florida native, that, there's places like this throughout the United States that have the same population of what Disney sees on a day-by-day basis in one park, let alone the 4 parks that they have on property.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh,
Exactly.
hilarious. Hilarious. Now, one thing that I've been following you on is all your weight training that you've been doing. How's that been going?
Good, I suppose. I've last 2 weeks I've been a little off, just trying to get the other house ready and stuff like that.
Oh, yeah.
But it's going well. I'm actually I'm working with a coach now.
Nice.
And just so I guess for the audience and stuff, I train pretty much like 5, 6 days a week, but I also do competitive strongman. It became a hobby about 2.5 years ago. An addiction, really. It's fun. I love it. I competed 3 times this year, and I've just been having a blast doing it. It's a ton of fun. I mean, training for it is fun. The events themselves are an absolute blast. I have so much fun doing them. And it's a different world from where I started off in lifting, because I was like powerlifting, and that's just 3 basic movements, right? Squat, bench, deadlift. Get into strongman, and it's like, hey, run this 200-pound sandbag 40 feet, drop it, and grab a 250-pound sandbag and run it back the other way. So a lot more functional strength. And having to be prepared for the cardio aspect of it. The last competition I did, we had a deadlift event, and it was a tire deadlift, so it's like an 18-inch deadlift, and I think mine was 365 pounds, somewhere about, and I pulled it for 30 reps and thought I was going to die.
Oh yeah.
But it was just one of those, like, it wasn't heavy and I just kept going. I mean, I have a video of it, and when it's, I got to a point where it was like, how many have I done? And the guy's like, 25. And I was like, how long do I have? He's like, 10 seconds. I'm like, cool, we'll bang out 5 more reps, hit the 30, and then realized that I really only needed to do 26 to beat the guy who had done the most already. But
Well, I mean, if you're gonna
it is
beat
what it
someone,
is.
like really beat them, like make them feel bad about it.
Yeah, but it was bad for like the next week.
Mm. Oh, I'm sure you were
You know,
feeling muscles in places that you didn't know existed.
my central nervous system was completely shot. It was
Mm.
terrible. It was, but it's a lot of fun. So I've got my next one's going to be in March. I'm taking some time to really prepare for this one because I'm trying to go to nationals in 2025, which is in June. So I'm going to use this next competition to hopefully get my invite to that.
Nice.
So should be fun.
Yeah, I haven't been doing much of any of that. Like my deadlift's waking up out of bed in the morning. Because I mean, one thing about being a rideshare driver, just you don't do anything. You just sit there, you lift luggage, put it in the back of the vehicle, and that's it. Like that's the extent of my day.
Yeah,
Which
I mean,
which
fair.
I'm kind of hoping for 25 I can go through and change that up a little bit. I just don't know what direction I want to go with it first. Do I want to trim down and be slim? Not happening. But there are a bunch of different ways that most everybody can go as far as being able to maintain a healthy lifestyle as far as working out goes. And, the strongman thing doesn't sound too bad, especially with it being more functional strength than anything else.
Yeah. See, the fun part about it for me is now is like when my wife asks me to move something around the house or something, it's kind of fun now because it's like, all right, now I got to figure out a way to carry this and I'll do it by myself.
Mm-hmm.
Like, and it's, I got to look at that with like some of my events and competition and stuff because, I've had some where it was like, I have to figure out how to carry a fire hydrant 40 feet and it's a 200-pound fire hydrant and I don't exactly have access to a fire hydrant to train with.
Not with that attitude.
So,
I mean, I'm sure it could be a felony in the process, but I mean, all things are possible if you're willing to give it a chance.
but it was basically just like showed up on the day of, and me and 10 other guys are standing around this fire hydrant being like, "What do you think the best way to carry this is?" And it ended up just being like, pick it up, pin it to your chest, and run. Was basically it.
Just
So,
bear hug the shit out of it.
yeah, basically.
Now, is there anything that you want to ask me?
Man, I think just general catching up. You know what I mean? It's how's life been? You know?
Life has definitely been life. It has definitely been life. As of time of recording, the night before, being a rideshare driver, I'm usually on the road anywhere between 65 upwards to 80 hours a week. Yeah, it's nice to be able to take a night off on, when I want to take a night off. It's another thing
Yes.
whenever my car wants to take a night off. So I had a trip from Disney World property all the way down to the Tampa airport because it was significantly cheaper to fly out of Tampa and pay for the Uber versus flying out of Orlando. For the riders, it was cheaper by something like almost $200 a ticket between
wow.
between the three of them to fly out of Tampa. Which, I mean, if you could save $900, I would do the same thing. Well,
Absolutely.
once I got down to Tampa, mind you, I live in Orlando. I get a nail in my tire. Yeah, luckily it was a slow leak, and a few months back I had a sidewall rupture on my car, only to find out then I didn't have a spare tire in my car because fucking Chevrolet, they're the best. And apparently that was an option. It's an option to have a spare tire and jack in a car now versus what they put in the vehicle, which is a can of Fix-A-Flat and an air compressor. Shit you not.
All right.
Yeah, I paid money for this vehicle to leave me stranded somewhere. So luckily last night the hole was in the tread patch, and I was able to stop off on the side of the road, put some air in it, move up a couple extra miles, stop off on the side of the road, put air in it, rinse and repeat. It took me probably the better part of 3 hours on what should have been an hour and a half drive back to Orlando from Tampa. Luckily, I was able to get it patched up today, and yeah, as soon as the new year rolls around, I can get a new set of tires. But yeah, I just was not happy about that. Not even a little
That's
bit.
understandable.
Oh yeah,
No,
it's
that's
just
fair.
and like as much as I enjoy doing the whole rideshare thing, it's becoming now that the overall cost of operation is starting to really defeat making any like real progression financially when it comes to rideshare, especially for the amount of hours I do it. Because I mean, once again, being in Florida, there's a huge market for it for rideshare in general for people using it. But in the same token, there's a lot of people out there that are also drivers as well too. So competition's getting to the point where it's not worth it for me anymore.
Right.
So
And I
instead,
think even for you too, because I know you have like a pretty sweet setup for people to actually ride in your car and stuff
mm,
like that too, right?
oh yeah,
So,
and yeah, one of these days I'll get photos of everything. But like I have chargers in the back of my vehicle. I currently have a tablet in the back. That way, kids can play games after I pick them up from the parks and whatnot. And between that, I have an air purification system in there, ozone generator to keep all the surfaces sterile. Like when I say that I'm a professional rideshare driver, I am as professional about it as possible, within the limitations of my vehicle, which currently is a 2024 Chevrolet Malibu. And if circumstances were a little different, I would totally change that car out for something else. I'm just not a sedan kind of guy because I'm pushing a petite like 310, 315 at 5'11. I got to squeeze myself in that car every day. Like now, so prior to that, I did have a 91 Chevrolet Silverado, and I absolutely love that truck. Unfortunately, fucking GM, there were a lot of repairs that needed to happen all at the same time due to poor engineering on their behalf, and would have wound up costing me something close to $18,000 just in repairs, which I probably could have swung that had it not taken them 6 months to get the parts. So, due to lack of availability on parts and whatnot, unfortunately, I had to let that truck go. Yeah, the Malibu's doing good for now. It just seems like that there's a bunch of reoccurring issues that keep popping up on that, which hopefully I can get that switched out for something else at a sooner than later date. But it is what it is.
yeah, understandable. Yeah, and then I mean, when you coming to Georgia to do some of these intoxication station things?
I need to make a trip up there. I really do. Because usually for me, if I'm in Florida for more than a year, I'm jonesing to get out to a different part of the state or a different state in general. And well, I've been down here for almost 3 years, and it feels like prison. It feels like absolute prison down here. Yeah, hopefully soon I can try to open up some kind of time to be able to go through and travel around and whatnot. Because I'm sure there's a ton of cool places up in where you're at. Because I know up in the Canton area, which is just south where you're at, there's an amazing German deli up there that has the best Reuben I've ever had.
That's in Ball Ground. So yes. But
Yeah, Ball
yeah,
Ground. Not too
dude,
far. Not too far.
our office is like 2.5 minutes from that deli now.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Nice. Which should be right across the street from the ice cream place that's up there too.
Yep, yep. So actually just went and had pizza in downtown Ball Ground today, so for
Oh,
lunch.
nice.
Yeah, working there is actually like it's been like really cool because it's super small town.
Hmm.
Um, really awesome down there. And it's cool that like we get to support all that local businesses and stuff like
Oh
that.
yeah.
Like I love walking downtown, going to the coffee shop and all
Well,
those things.
well,
Just
that and the diner that's inside the railroad car and whatnot too.
yeah, the burger place.
Hmm.
Yep, that
No,
place is awesome.
like it really is a very cutesy little town.
Yeah, unfortunately for
Getting busy.
them, in my dude, it's crazy.
Mm.
They're building so many houses and like it's just getting kind of nuts. Like it's like your infrastructure cannot handle this influx of human population.
Oh yeah.
So
Well, I mean, trust me, I know. I know. Granted, it might be a little bit different up there considering that you guys have elevation and like mountain passes and whatnot, but I get it. I get it.
Yeah.
Anywhere that can be considered cutesy or just rural quiet, yeah, I mean, that's going the way of the dodo bird, unfortunately. Because I would love to live on 10 acres, small house, big barn, some livestock out there, couple of cows, couple of chickens, maybe a goat or two. But I gotta have same day delivery on Amazon. Like I've just become accustomed to that. Either that or close to like a Taco Bell or something like that. Which I mean, you gotta pick one. You gotta pick one or the other.
Yeah. See, the lucky part for us is like we're only about 45, 50 minutes outside of Chattanooga.
Mm-hmm.
So we do pretty good with the Amazon and stuff too. We don't have same day, but we definitely get our 2 day.
Oh yeah.
So we're cool with that.
Oh yeah.
And it's the North Georgia thing is like the one cool thing about our little town is I think our population's like right around 1,400 or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
But we're in a really inconvenient place for people who want to commute to Atlanta
Mm-hmm.
because we're nowhere close to an interstate.
Nice.
So we're like a little pass-through town,
Mm-hmm.
which is fine because like now I don't have to worry about this influx of people coming into here. But like any of the towns that are like close to the interstate are getting like super overrun
Oh
with
yeah.
just like
Just bombarded with people.
townhomes and the neighborhoods and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So
The townhome situation's getting a little out of control, especially down here, because, like, I get it from a developer standpoint. The best way to maximize your profit is to put more people on that same piece of property and give the illusion, anyways, of people owning their own home. There's been so many townhomes down here, which is crazy from a Florida perspective, because, yeah, during a hurricane, yeah, if a gust of wind were to remove the roof, they got to replace that entire unit, and everyone's paying for it, even if someone's not affected by it.
yeah,
Because they're going through and putting in like 20, 25 townhomes in a single row, and you got to replace that entire roof.
yeah.
That
It's
HOAs,
and I
not a
mean,
huge fan of that.
yeah, that was another one of my absolutely can't happen
Mm-hmm.
for me. Because I mean, you know me, they would have given me that list of don't do's, and that would have been the first thing that I did is went through that list and did all of those things. So
trying to do multiple of them at the same time, just out of spite.
exactly, yeah, exactly. So like, and luckily my wife was the same way where she's like, yeah, I'm absolutely not dealing with that. So
Mm-hmm.
that was that was a plus. It's that's not me. I don't need extra rules for the property that I own.
Oh
So
yeah. Tell me what I can and can't do with it. What do you mean I can't paint it fuchsia? What if I want to paint my house fuchsia? I want to make sure no one misses it.
exactly. Now I'm gonna paint my house fuchsia because you told me I can't.
Just cause.
So yeah, yeah. So but yeah, man. The no this thing you've started is pretty cool. I've enjoyed watching yours and Strickland's little videos on the reviews of the different places and ultimately learning a little like Florida history with it as well. It's been
Mm,
kind of cool. So
yeah, well, and that was part of the restaurant reviews, because of the places that we went to so far, which we got plenty more coming in the pipeline for the
mm,
2025 year. The biggest thing with the restaurant reviews was to have it to where people have to go out from the big areas to what I experienced growing up as a Floridian. Yeah, going to the rural parts that are on the river, not so much as on the beach. Getting away from the big commercialized areas that are in Orlando to just on the outskirts of Orlando and still be able to have what I would consider more of an authentic experience with the food. Because like one of the biggest restaurants that's been booming down here, and it seems like that they open up a new location every week, if not more, is Miller's Ale House. Which, I mean, nothing on Miller's Ale House. It's just they're everywhere. Like they're almost on par with McDonald's anymore.
right, right.
And for people that are visiting down here that are super picky eaters, go to the chain restaurants. Like, is what it is. They're going to get their money regardless. But with an emphasis on the smaller businesses and whatnot, these are people that's their livelihood. They don't have a corporate to back them up. They don't have the support team that a multi-million-dollar ad campaign would be at anywhere else. Like, these are legitimate mom and pop operations that I would rather support and promote than like another Ford's Garage or Miller's Ale House or Chili's or anything like that. Because, I mean, if you've been to one, you've been in them all.
Yeah, yeah. It's all the same stuff. And like, I can't remember off the top of my head the kind of like chain of places that you did.
Oh, Florida
They were
Cracker.
all owned by the same.
Yeah,
Yeah, Florida Cracker.
yeah, the Florida
Like,
Cracker brand, which I love that place. I absolutely love that place. I'll try to go put a link in the description of the bio of the interview that I did with Blair, the owner of all the Florida
the
Crackers.
owner, yeah,
Hmm.
yeah.
And like he's a multi-generational Floridian as well too, from the Brooksville area,
Mhm.
which is about an hour and a half outside of Orlando on the Gulf Coast. And he was super informative when it came to the history of the Brooksville area, between Brooksville, Silver Springs, Homosassa, like all these places that no one visits, but these are all places that should be visited by people. Because,
Yeah, like I watched that episode with him and like it was cool to hear about like the area and like their vision for like what they're doing and stuff like that.
oh
So
no, and
it
it's
was it was really cool.
and what they're doing is phenomenal. Like, I'll promote them wherever possible. One of their other locations is in the pipeline to go through and review. Just unfortunately, after Hurricane Milton, they did get hit pretty hard by the hurricane. And last I checked, which was a couple weeks ago, the kitchen still isn't quite up to par just yet. I think they're waiting on a couple of inspections to be done before they
Mhm.
can open up the kitchen. But the bar's still going. And as long as you got the bar open, I mean, you can appease a lot of people with just
Yeah.
a bar. And like that location is a beautiful location. I've been on the other side of the river of it. It's an open air bar on one of the rivers up in Homosassa. I've been told that they have really good food up there. I've yet to be up there, like inside the establishment, but it really is a swell place. And we'll make sure to get a review in over at the Monkey Bar here soon. But like the thing with the Florida Cracker brand, they have so many different things. Like they got their fingers in just about all the critical parts. Between restaurants, they have a big presence on social media. They have their own merchandise store that has everything from Yeti coolers, their own branded of whiskey and bourbons and whatnot, which is outstanding to me. They even have a real estate company that goes along with the Florida Cracker brand too. So, and some of the
Nice.
houses that they post on their Instagram page are out of this world gorgeous. Just giant cypress trees on properties and whatnot. Just it really is a good thing that they're doing. Yeah, they've been at
Yeah.
it for years.
Yeah, it
And,
definitely seemed like it.
and they've been at it for years, and I hope they continue on with it too.
Yeah. No, that's really cool. It's like, finding those, especially when you get into like some of the bigger areas and stuff, like finding those little homegrown places are so few and far between almost everywhere anymore. So it's always cool to come across those, and that's where like with, you know, my family and stuff, like, even where we're at, we've got a Tractor Supply, but like then there's also two locally owned like feed stores
Mm-hmm.
and stuff like that. And like one, they're cheaper, and two, I'd rather keep my money locally than go spend the money at like a Tractor Supply.
Oh
You know
yeah.
what I mean? Like,
Mm-hmm.
so we frequent those feed stores, because we have chickens, rabbit, and all that stuff. So like, yeah, do I spend a ton of money there? No, but like I feel like that support of just like not just the convenience of stopping by a Tractor Supply, because sometimes those smaller locally owned places, their hours are a bit different, a
Mm-hmm.
bit tougher to hit, but I'm more apt to support them.
Oh
And
yeah.
same thing with restaurants and everything too. Like I'd rather hit up a local diner than
Oh,
go to a
absolutely.
big chain spot.
Speaking of diners, oh my god! So one of the places that we worked at in years past was up in New Hampshire, specifically Concord, depending on
Concord,
where you're coming from.
Concord.
And there is a diner up there that I will promote till the day I die. It's called the Red Arrow Diner, and they have several locations up there. For my riders that I pick up, they always ask me what my favorite restaurant is, expecting somewhere in, at least within the Orlando area, if not the state of Florida. Every time, Red Arrow Diner. Every single time. Because for the time that we were up there, it got to the point where I was trying to find bad stuff on the menu, and I just couldn't find anything bad on the menu. I really couldn't.
No, we did our Christmas dinner there.
Oh yeah.
Like,
Did the company Christmas dinner there. Staff is amazing. Cooks amazing. Like I'm pretty sure that they could serve me a glass of dirty mop water, and it would be the best dirty mop water I'd ever come across.
I still have the coffee cup.
Oh,
So
I got 2 coffee cups. I don't think I got any T-shirts when I was up there, but that's something that I need to do next time I go back up there, and there will be a next time I go back up there. Oh my God, the place is so good.
everything was so good, so fantastic. It was great.
I was thoroughly glad to wait an hour to get seated because I knew what was happening afterwards.
Exactly.
Oh,
exactly.
such an amazing.
And that was the cool
place.
thing too. It was like always busy.
Oh yeah,
Like
didn't matter what time of day,
always.
it was always busy.
Yeah.
Um,
And it was just a cool thing. And it was like you could tell it was like that staple too, like because they'd have like the rolling TV screens of like all the different celebrities and politicians and all that stuff that had been there. And it was like, but usually when you go to some place like that, like it's mediocre.
mhm.
You know what I mean? When it's got all these endorsements and everybody raves about it and everything. So like I think the first time we went, it was kind of like I didn't expect to be like wowed. And then like after we ate and like had dessert and everything, it was like, oh, we're coming here all the time. Like we're gonna live here.
So I think on that project we were up there 2 weeks in total. And if I remember correctly, out of the 2 weeks, 14 days that we were up there, I was there at least 16 times.
Yeah. Oh
Like,
yeah, we were there a lot.
It became a problem that I was totally okay with.
Well, and the other cool part was too is like I'd leave there maybe spending $20, like with dessert and everything.
Oh yeah.
It was like it was never an expensive like, and I think I do remember myself and you also gifting one of our waitresses like $100 tip for Christmas or something like that.
Oh yeah, and she absolutely deserved it. She absolutely. And matter of fact,
So
it was probably 3 years ago to the day, just about, because it was right before Christmas, and here we are, about a week
yeah,
away from Christmas at time of filming. For a place like that, absolutely, absolutely,
yeah,
have no issues with between the service, the food. So one of the times that we went up there, being from the South, we do have different types of cuisine that most people don't see throughout the United States. One of those being grits.
yes,
And one of the days we were up there, I jokingly asked, "Do you guys have grits?" And the server told me, "We do. They're instant, and I don't think you're going to like them." Because at this point, we were on first name basis with just about everybody in there. And I was like, and I told her, I haven't had anything bad, and I'm trying to find something bad at this point. Let me go ahead and try the grits. They were better than my grandmother's grits. Like, they were cooked to perfection, just the right amount of salt, just the right amount of butter, a little bit of pepper on top. I could eat that for like till the end of time. Just the grits. Right. Like, even their liver and onions was good, and I hate that stuff.
Yeah, I mean, I remember Charles ordering that every time we went there.
Oh yeah. Oh God. Imagine if I had Charles on here.
It'd be entertaining.
Yeah, absolutely. Charles, what can I say about Charles that he couldn't say for himself? But Charles was one of our co-workers back when we worked together. He's an older gentleman from a different time and from a different era that has...
From Alabama.
From Alabama. Opelika, Alabama at that. And he has zero filter on everything. Smartest guy that you'll ever come across.
That's great.
Like borderline autistic kind of smart. Like Asperger's, or I believe that falls into the autistic spectrum anymore. But super savvy when it comes to technology and whatnot. Like he did cable TV for something like 30 years before he started doing the field engineering stuff. And great guy. Oh my God, great guy. Awesome person to talk with and whatnot. As long as you know what you're getting yourself into.
Yep.
Love him to death.
One of the nicest people, but also one of the most aggravating.
So aggravating. But aggravating in a way that only a father could be aggravating. Or like a grandfather.
Exactly. Yeah. And remember, I had to live with him for several months. So, between Kentucky and Orlando, there was him and I shared an apartment. And it was interesting to say the least.
One of his favorite snacks, and it disgusts me every time I hear it, raw onions and buttermilk.
Yeah.
That is
And he would also put buttermilk like in his ice cream.
So that I can understand to a certain extent, especially from like his time frame growing up and whatnot. But I've seen this man eat, like, legitimately get an onion from the store, the biggest white onion that they had, quarter it, and eat it like an apple while drinking buttermilk and eating saltine crackers. That was dinner for him. Like, talk about country as hell. I'm sure if there was
Yep.
sardines available, he would have ate them too.
Pretty sure he did eat those.
Mm-hmm.
Almost positive of it.
Oh yeah.
So, yeah. Interesting gentleman to say the least. But
Very,
love him
very
to death.
interesting. Oh, I would do anything for him. Absolutely, no question. Hey Ray, can you come up here and help me move a refrigerator 2 feet? Charles, I'm all the way down in Orlando. You live up in Georgia. Give me a couple hours. I'll be up there.
100%.
Oh,
So
major,
I mean,
major respect for him.
We worked with some interesting characters over the years.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's to say the least. But yeah, it's interesting being in that field environment. You know.
Oh yeah.
You get all different types.
Well, not only that, you get to see what the people really are outside of work.
Yeah.
Because, so, that was one thing about Charles, too. Once work was work, it's work. Once work wasn't work, where's Charles? Like, he just disappears into the woodwork in the background, in most cases. But yeah, we've had some fairly interesting people over the years, just in my short time with the company, which in total, I was probably with the company for a little over 2 years, about 2.5 years in total time. How long have you been with them for?
November was 9 years.
Really?
So
wow.
Yeah, I'll be 10 years next year.
Hell,
longest I've ever worked for somebody.
Oh yeah. Well, I mean, all in all, you put in the time to get to where you're at.
Yeah.
Like you legitimately worked up to where you're at.
Yeah, and it's one of those things that I'll always be super appreciative of them, and I've also kind of always said that if anything was to ever happen, I'd probably leave the industry completely.
Oh yeah.
I wouldn't want to work for anybody else. So it's it's role changes over the years and doing different things and stuff like that. But I've never said no.
Mm-hmm.
So, we've been, and it's the reason I'm in Georgia now.
Mm-hmm.
It's, they moved me here and, it was, I mean, shoot, my wife and I have been married we just celebrated 17 years.
Congratulations.
And thank you. And we just, we bought our first house, and none of that happens without, the company and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
So we've super appreciative of that. And, I mean, the bosses better than I do.
Mm-hmm.
And love them to death. So it's, all in all, it's been a great experience. And honestly, I hope it goes for another 10 plus.
Oh, yeah.
And I think I told you, but recently, end of October-ish, my wife also started working for us as well.
Nice. Carpool.
Yeah. It's been real nice. It's like, she's full time, but she does about 30 hours a week. And, the days that we can, we absolutely carpool down and everything. It's been pretty cool. It's an interesting, because everybody kind of gives you that warning, like, oh, working with your significant other, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
There's no issue there. You know what I mean?
Well, I mean, especially if you guys have been with each other for 17 years now.
Yeah. Well, together 18, married 17.
Yeah, together 8.
So we've had quite the run.
You know what to expect at this point.
Yeah.
But so from when I worked up there versus now, you mentioned before that you did move locations. So is it a bigger location that you guys are at? Smaller? About the same size?
It's bigger.
Is it bigger?
No, it's way bigger.
All right.
Yeah, we're actually in an old elementary school now that's kind of been renovated, has a real modern industrial kind of look to it.
All right.
It's really cool. We've been there. Next month will be a year that we've been there. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, we moved in January of 24. So it's been a big change. It was cool though because it brought me a little closer to where I live. So it only moved 15 minutes up the road, but that's 15 minutes closer to my house.
Oh yeah.
So, but yeah, it's a cool spot. A lot more room. Everybody's kind of spread out. Long gone are the private offices. Unfortunately, I do miss my private office,
yeah.
but
Now,
Um,
when when I was working for the company, I was mainly on the OSP. Yeah, outside the plant.
yeah,
I was mainly on the OSP side of things, but on occasion I would make it up to the office. And the location that you guys were at consisted of two hallways that was connected by a break room,
basically.
and that was it. A lot of
Yeah,
doors, a lot of doors in there.
very cramped, very
Hmm.
cramped. A lot of people in some tight spaces, so we definitely don't have that anymore. I think we like doubled our square footage or something like that.
Oh, nice.
I can't remember exactly, but it's way bigger. Everybody's kind of got their own little setups and everything, so it's a lot more office-like now,
Hmm.
where we kind of have people in like big rooms, kind of in their own little. They're not cubicles per se, but like they have their own desk and stuff like that.
Hmm.
They're all just kind of together.
Kind of like a bullpen
Um,
at like a police
yeah,
precinct or something.
yeah. It's more set up like that. But honestly, I think for everybody, it's been like a really good change
Hmm.
and a really positive one at that. So it's it's been real cool. We've been real grateful to have the space that we have.
Oh
So
yeah. Well,
it's
to be able to grow to needing that extra space is the biggest thing.
yeah,
Because it's one
yeah,
thing to move
and
just to have more space if you don't need it. It's
mhm,
another to have the company grow to the point where you need the extra space.
yeah, and like obviously, with my role, it's kind of changed to an extent because we don't do as much fielding as we used to.
Hmm.
Um, I'm kind of like our field again at this point.
Forever in the
I've
field.
got a few people. Yeah, I mean, I've got a couple people that I can send out to do certain things and stuff like that. Like I currently have two people out of state right now
Hmm.
working, but it's nowhere near what it used to be.
Oh yeah.
Having 20 of you guys out or whatever and stuff like that. It may come to that again. I'm not really sure
Hmm.
because it seemed like over the past couple of years, like everybody's fielding has kind of like slowed down and just hasn't really been as prevalent and stuff like that. But, obviously with me, I've been more than open to taking on new roles and doing new stuff. And, it's been a big change,
Hmm.
but I've enjoyed it. It's nice. We do have a new thing that recently rolled out, actually rolls out full force in January, but we've started a WISP, so we're a wireless internet provider now.
Damn.
Um,
All right.
so we're doing that. Um, that's a cool change.
Hmm. Well,
That's something that's
especially up in that area, because
yeah,
for those that haven't had the pleasure of being up in the northern Georgia area, it's rural in some parts, but yet still have a ton of like houses on mountainsides and whatnot. You never see them during the
yeah.
summertime and during the springtime, and
Nope.
they stick out during the winter months whenever all the leaves fall and whatnot. So that would be a game changer for the area.
Yeah, yeah. It's been a cool experience. It's learning a lot of new things.
Hmm.
Um, and my kind of main role right now is going to be like doing installs and stuff like that. But also, in the process of learning all the different aspects of it and stuff like that. But
Hmm.
it's a cool change. It's really fun, and looking forward to it growing like crazy, you know, probably in the next couple of months and being incredibly busy doing that stuff. So,
Once again, always busy doing something, but well, I do appreciate taking the time out to do an interview with us. Uh,
yeah, I
it's been
appreciate you
great.
having me.
I'd like to see you back on the channel again at some point or another.
Absolutely.
Yeah, but just let me know when you're ready for the next interview, and hopefully one of these days I make it up there to check out one of the many restaurants that are up that direction too.
Absolutely. I'll take you to a couple fun, awesome spots.
Hell
So
yeah. Well,
I got your back.
on that note, Derek, thank you again for your time.
Thank you, Ray. I
Absolutely.
appreciate it, brother.
Absolutely. Thank you for watching the Intoxication Station, and we will catch you next time.
Have a good one.